So Roger Goodell right now is going through his State of the League address at the Super Bowl. And this is really getting a lot of buzz online right now. Here it is. Here's the tweet from our friend Ari Meirav. Roger Goodell gets an officiating question. Quote, "For us, when you look at officiating, I don't think it's ever been better in the league." That's a quote from him. Then Meirav goes on to say, Goodell admits it'll never be perfect, but the league is proud of where the officiating is, and the refs are held to a high standard, and the NFL believes those standards have been met.
Are you out of your mind?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, let me submit to you that this is a false statement. This is horrifically false. And until or unless, anybody that knows an addict in your life, until or unless you admit you have a problem, the problem will continue. And for Roger Goodell to not stand up there and say, we are working on every aspect in our power to make sure that our officials are the most prepared and most ready to officiate NFL games. How you can say this is the best it's ever been is a remarkable lie and deserves many clown emojis.
I would have brought up the the Washington and the Giants game on that Sunday night as my first.
What about the Seattle Seahawks game that cost the Lions a playoff?
Well, this was before that. I mean, I could have went, even just sitting there in the audience, I could have brought up 5 games to him. And I would love to hear what he had to say back to that, because they are just garbage.
He's making $54 million. He's going to say whatever the hell those owners want him to say. I mean, that's always been the deal. He's gotten better. So this is what I would say. Roger Goodell, for a very long time in his tenure, was kind of just saying what the owners wanted him to say, or he was steering clear, or he was taking the bullets for everything that they didn't want to get put onto the owners or put into the GMs or the presidents or franchises. Now he says more. Like, I give him credit. He's been out open. He says a little bit more, has more conversation, and he's not just saying exactly what they want him to say. That's why something like this it takes you back a step. It takes me back a step, because I was starting to say, you know what, Roger Goodell is starting to come into his they got to take a step back. Like, the NFL this year was atrocious, and it's been atrocious for the better part of 4 years now. I mean, you have people that show as far back as the last 6 or 7 years, it's been bad. But at the end of the day, when you're Roger Goodell in front of that microphone, and what am I going to do? Go up there and say, yo, like, we were horrible. Like, dude, I don't want to admit to the fans that already think it might be horrible, rigged, et cetera, or something else, that, oh, yeah, you're absolutely correct. Like, when you're dealing with fans who are buying into a product that is a $1 trillion business, like, on a year-end basis, and they think it's rigged, or it's this, or it's that, or this is horrible, and this is that, I can't give them the firepower they need to really start going after us more and more and more. So I got to go up there. I got to look you dead in your eye and say, I mean, it was a couple things last year, but for the most part, this is the best the officiating has ever been. That is called CEO 101 Vanilla Convo.
Dude, that's like Vince McMahon going up there and deliberately playing heel. I mean, the only thing that was missing was the crowd saying, you suck, you suck, you suck.
Only difference is Vince McMahon owns the WWE. Roger Goodell does not.
Well, it sounds like he owns some bad takes, and I got to give Detroit Dabber credit in the WoodwardSports.com chat, because I think his statement was an appropriate one. If nothing else, this is just an absolutely tone-deaf response. The number one thing people are talking about in your league is the officiating and if games are rigged. I mean, now, you could tell me all you want that the games aren't rigged, and that's fine. I'm not going to fight that battle today. But you cannot deny that the poor officiating is the reason that people are saying these things about your league. So if you are not willing to go up there and say, look, I understand what the conversations are amongst many of you, but that's not something that we agree with. But one thing we can agree on is that We take this very seriously, and we are working to have the best officials we possibly can. That's all you got to say.
He's going to get ripped.
What?
Big time on national television. They're going to tear him apart. What are we talking about? Games are scripted. We're talking about games are scripted. And this guy is saying the game has never been in better hands with these referees?
But
he's out of his mind.
But are you surprised? Like you're talking,
I am a little bit.
You're talking about the same league that denied concussions or ignored concussions or ignored the questions in front of the media, in front of the microphones about the direct correlation to hits, to concussions, to CT, etc. It took a movie to come out and people to see, for people to be like, nah, he's lying. And then the NFL had to change. The medical side of things of protecting players, years they did not. It took the media. So what I'm thinking is, and even now you see with the Damar Hamlin situation, how they were talking about medical. You talk about they went from $5,400 a week and $5,400 a month in terms of 401k or senior dues to $3,000. How they've gone down. It takes people, it takes questions, it takes things like this to create the rise for them to then look at it, because they weren't doing anything until Will Smith came out with that terrible accident.
As sad as this is to say, though, Braylon,
I want the truth.
But look, this is going to be horrible to say. And this is sad that it's coming out of my mouth. But a lot of NFL fans probably don't care about. I don't want to say don't care about CTE, but they don't care what happens to your body. They care about what happens to their team, whether they win or lose, and if they lost a little bit of jack on it.
Yeah, true.
You know, if they put money on the Lions to get to the playoffs, and this bad call cost in the Seattle game cost the Lions a playoff berth, you know, that's what these fans care about. You know, I mean, so I don't mean to be insensitive about that, but calls from fans on paying players for CTE is not something that a wide swath of fans will do. But when hundreds of millions of fans around the country are watching how horrible these officials are, to come out and say, no, your eyes are lying to you, our officials are great, is terribly tone deaf.
What I'm saying is I agree. I'm basically agreeing with you. The only thing I'm saying is it took a while. It took for something to happen in multiple cases for them to finally admit, because they
100%.
So I think it's going to be the same thing now. You know, Roger Goodell's going to come back, because this is, once the Super Bowl is over, they're going to be beating this until August of this year. I mean, they'll be all to August. Officiating. Is it rigged? Why are the calls so bad? To watch the Commanders, the Giants game, look at the Seahawks, look at the Rams. This is going to be an ongoing conversation. And I think through that process, eventually you'll start to see him change his tune. You'll see the NFL change their tune. I think you will see better officiating coming up, and that's all I'm saying. I agree with you.
I totally agree with you.
Wait till Carl Cheffers hacks up the Super Bowl.
I was gonna say, man,
just wait.
I was gonna say this better be the cleanest Super Bowl that we have ever seen.
He throws the most flags.
All eyes are on Super Bowl 57 and the third team on the field, the officials. Guys, got to take a break. When we come back.